Don't forget to like and subscribe to Jolie Knots Crochet. Share with your friends. Hit that little notification bell so you can get notified when new patterns release. All our videos are available in left and right-handed tutorials. Hi everyone, welcome back to Jolie Knots Crochet. I'm Crystal and today we are going to be making the Lana Beanie. Now this is an updated pattern from a video that I put up several months ago. I did not have a written pattern for that, so I wanted to write one and then also incorporate some more sizing for you. This pattern is written for either a 3-weight yarn or a 4-weight yarn. This blue one I did in a very light 4-weight yarn. A heavy 4-weight will not work. It will work, but the sizing is just going to be a little bit off because it won't be as stretchy. So this is a very light 4-weight yarn. And then the white one here is a 3-weight yarn in the Comfy Cotton Blend from Lion's brand. And this pink one here, the smallest one, is the Yarn Bees Sweet Delight. And this blue one here is the Lamia Wool Easy. We're going to be creating this beanie starting with the bottom band and then working our way up, beginning our decreasing in this bursting sequence here and then closing it up on the top. Now you can add a pom-pom to the top if you like, completely optional. The sizing difference in this beanie, some children are going to be fitting a band of 72. These two that you see here is for either a child with a larger head or an adult size. The adult size difference has a longer band, and this beanie will fit you more like a cap. Now the child size here is going to have a shorter band so that it's not too long. And then here we have a same width band as this one, but shorter, as in this one is 60 rows, and then both of these are 72 rows in length on the band. This one fits my 10-year-old. And this one does fit me, and I have a pretty large size head. So the stretch on it should be good enough to be able to fit really any sized head. Now for the children with smaller heads, you can go ahead and do the band with 60 rows. And I'll explain to you just the difference. You're just gonna have a different amount of bursts here. And so as we go through the pattern and I teach you exactly what we're gonna do, I'll explain to you the sizing difference. Now for a smaller child, you will have more space here on the top for them, but as far as the adults, it's gonna be pretty fitted to you. Let's take a look at the measurements. The adult size is measuring 9 inches across, 9 inches tall. The larger child size is going to measure 9 inches across because it is the same width, but the increase you'll see starts sooner because this one is taller, so it's got that extra room in the top of the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches tall. And the smaller child size, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches tall. So it's not, I mean, this band would probably fit for a toddler size, but it's gonna be pretty slouchy on them. So you're just gonna wanna know that. Okay, so the yarn that I'm going to be using this tutorial on today is going to be this same one in the Baby Bee Sweet Delight Yarn Bee. I did pick this one up on clearance at Hobby Lobby, so I'm not sure if this yarn is discontinued or if it's just the Wild Strawberry that's discontinued, or if it's even discontinued at all. I'm finding that when I do tutorials with this clearance yarn, it's really just a variety. You're going to need probably about 120 yards or so for a child size, all the way up to say 150 yards for an adult size. The other materials that you are going to need are a 5mm hook, You are going to need a tapestry needle to weave in your ends, some scissors, of course. We shouldn't be needing any stitch markers, but if that helps you better, then go ahead and use a stitch marker as well, and a pom-pom if you are going to add a pom-pom. So the size that I'm making is going to be the smaller size with the 60 band. That I'm going to also explain to you exactly the changes that we're going to make per size. Now there is going to be a written pattern that will be linked at the bottom in the description box. I give all of my patterns for free on YouTube, but if you want a written pattern, it is a small paid fee on Ravelry. So to get started, we are going to take a slip knot and we're going to begin on the bottom band. For children, you're going to be chaining 9. 9 chains is going to give you an 8 stitch width. For adults, you're going to chain 13, and that's going to give you a 12 stitch width on your band. Now, if you know you like your band smaller or you know you like your band bigger, then you of course can feel free to customize for the desired size of band that you like. So I'm going to start with this small child size, and I'm going to chain 9. Into my second chain from the hook, I'm going to place 1 single crochet, and then I'm going to single crochet into every chain all the way down. So if you're making the smaller band, I'm going to have 8 single crochets. If I'm making the larger band for the adults, I'm going to have 12 single crochets. And so your first row is going to look just like that. Getting started on row 2, this is going to be your repeat row. Chain 1 and turn your work. Now we are going to single crochet into the first stitch through both loops, your front and your back loop. And what this is going to do, because this is a light beanie and this is not a tiny hook size, we want to make sure that our band keeps its form. So it will stretch out and then it will keep its form to come back. Now if you crochet through the back loop only, your band is going to be able to stretch and then it will keep a bigger stretch. So we don't really want the bottom band to be stretched out. That's why we're going to single crochet into both loops on your first stitch and your last stitch. So through both loops on your first stitch, through the back loop only of every stitch following up until you reach the last stitch, and we'll do both loops again. Here is my last single crochet, and I'm going to go through both loops of that last stitch. That's your second row. Now you're going to repeat row 2 either 60 until you have 60 rows or until you have 72 rows based off of the size that you are going for. I'm going to continue to 60 rows because that's the size I'm doing. And if you're going 72 rows, go ahead and continue to your 72 rows. And I will meet you right back here so that we can begin on the body. Sewing up or seaming up. Here's what our seam will look like here. So we're going to seam up our band together to create a ring, and then we'll continue onto the body of the beanie. Okay, so I have just completed my 60 rows. So what you're going to do once you have your 60 or your 72 rows is you are going to take the ends and you're going to fold them together just as if you were going to be working across for the next row, only now we're going to work across for the next row and as we're slip stitching into the chain spaces on the other side at the same time. So go ahead and chain 1. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go through both loops of our first stitch, and then we're going to come over to the other side and we're going to go through the first chain space and pull through all loops. So we're just slip stitching through all of those stitches. Now into the next stitch, we're going through the back loop only, just as if we were working our regular row. And then we're going to go through the next chain space on the other side and pull through all loops. So do that all the way down. And in the last stitch, we'll go through both loops, just as usual. So your last stitch through both of your loops, your front and your back loop, and through the last chain space on the other side, and that closes up your band. So now what you're going to do is flip that inside out, turn it around, get yourself into a working position, and I'm going to work over my tail for the first row of the body. This is not the first row right here. This is actually our chain space, because now we are working the rows that we started with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the top of each row. So this is the first one. This will be the top of your second row, the top of your third row, the top of your fourth row. Those are where we're going to be working into. So I'm going to chain 1 and half double crochet into the side of each row. So if you have a 60 length band, you're going to have 60 half double crochets. If you have a 72 length band, then you're going to have 72 half double crochets. So just continue that around, and I will meet you back at the beginning to get started on round 2. Okay, here I am. I've just completed all the way to the end of my band. I made sure that I have 60 half double crochets. If you have 72 rows, make sure you have 72 half double crochets. So now what I'm going to do is slip stitch to my first half double crochet, both loops of my first half double crochet to join. Now our next row, round 2 of the body, what you're going to do is chain 1. And for our next 2 rows, we're going to be working the camel stitch. Now if you don't know what the camel stitch is, that is not worked into either the top 2 loops, not the front, not the back. Now if you give your work a slight turn, you'll see the back bar. There's a back bar in your half double crochet, and that's where we'll begin working our stitches. Now your first one is going to be a little bit hard to find. It's just going to be sitting down a little bit lower, and it's going to look a little bit smaller just from that slip stitch. Okay, so yarn over, half double crochet into that back bar, and that's your camel stitch. And that's all you're going to do is continuing to half double crochet into that back bar all the way around. So what it's going to do is going to push the top of your stitches forward, and it's going to give it like a braided look. So just like these, that's how we're going to create this braided look. Okay, so work your next 2 rows as the camel stitch, and I will meet you right back to begin row 4. All right, here I am. I've just completing my second row of camel stitches. So I worked 2 rows of half double crochet into the back bar of the previous row. And now I'm just going to slip stitch to the first to join. All right, chain 1, and we're going to get started on round 4. Round 4 is going to be the beginning of our bursting rows. We're going to work this bottom part of the fan right here, all the way down. So how we're going to do that, both sizes will be worked the same. You will have 12 fans at the end of the 72 row, and you will have 10 fans at the end of the 60 row. Okay, so we're going to go into the same stitch and we're going to make a single crochet. Now we are going to skip 2 stitches, and into the 3rd stitch we're going to put 7 double crochets. Now you'll skip the next 2 stitches, and into the 3rd stitch you'll single crochet. This is what we're going to create all the way around. We started with a single crochet, skip 2 stitches, 7 double crochets, skip 2 stitches, single crochet, skip 2 stitches, 7 double crochets, skip 2 stitches, single crochet. And that is the repeat that you are going to go all the way around. So like I said, you should end up with 12 fans for a 72 width band and 10 fans for a 60 width band. Okay, I have made it back around with my last fan, skipping my 2 stitches. My last 2 stitches here, I'm going to slip stitch into my first single crochet. Beginning round 5, I'm going to chain 2, and now I'm going to do a double crochet 4 together over the first stitch and the next 3 stitches. We're doing that into the back loop only. So it's going to create this textured look where we have these lines right here that are bordering our inside bursts. So this is half of a burst, and these are the full burst, and then this is the other half of the burst on the top. So we're making these lines to border that inside of it. So this is the row that we're working on now with the double crochets together. So once you chain 2, that is not counting as a stitch. Your first partial double crochet will be worked into the single crochet that you just slip stitched into. So we're going to go through the back loop only, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That's your first partial double crochet. You're not finishing it. Yarn over, go into the back loop of the next stitch, yarn over, back loop of the next stitch. So you should have 5 loops on your hook total, with 4 partial double crochets, and the first one just being from your chain 2 that did not count as a stitch. Yarn over and pull through all of your loops. And now you're going to chain 3. Working into the next stitch here, which should be your 4th double crochet of the fan in the middle, you're going to single crochet into the back loop only. Now you're going to chain 3, and we're going to do double crochet 7 together. So we're going to do 3 going down the fan, your 4th one should be in your single crochet, and then 3 going up the fan. So yarn over, back loop only, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. You should now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 8 loops, chain 3, single crochet into the back loop only of your next stitch, which should be your 4th double crochet of the fan. And that's what you're going to repeat. So chain 3, double crochet 7 together into the back loops only, pull through all loops, chain 3, single crochet into the back loop only of your 4th double crochet here. So repeat that all the way around, and when we come back to finish, we're going to finish with 3 partial double crochets here and slip stitching. So I'm going to come all the way back around to my single crochet here, and I will meet you right back here so we can close up and get started on the next round. Okay, I have just completed my last full upside down fan, and we're going to end with a partial upside down fan. So I'm going to chain my 3, and I'm going to do a 3 double crochet together over these 3 stitches into the back loop only still. 1, 2, 3. And the way that we are going to connect these, before we pull through all, we're going to stick our hook into the eye of the double crochets here. See here where all the double crochets come together? That's the eye of your stitch. So put your hook in there first, then grab your yarn, and you'll pull through all loops. And that's going to complete your 5th round. Getting started on round 6, we're going to chain 2, which will not count as a stitch, and again, working into the eye of our stitch, we're going to put 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now into this single crochet, we're going to put a single crochet through both loops. Don't worry about the gapping that's happening here as we're working and pulling. As everything starts coming together, your gaps will start to close up. So you'll have something there, but it'll start to close up, okay? So here's your repeat. After your single crochet, working into the eye of your next upside down fan, that's what I'm going to call this, as an upside down fan. This is the eye of your stitch. 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Coming straight over into your single crochet, both loops, we're going to put a single crochet. That's your repeat. Into the eye of your next upside down fan, 7 double crochets, and then single crochet into your single crochet. Finish that out, and then I'm going to come and help you work the second part of this fan. Okay, I just finished my last full fan, and now I'm going to come over and complete my first partial fan. So what I'm going to do is I am going to work over this chain 2, and I'm going to work into the eye of the stitch that we first started in. And I'm going to put my first 3 double crochets. So we started with 4, everyone has 7, and now we're going to finish out with 3. So into the eye of the stitch, working over your 2 double crochets, you're over your 2 chains. We're going to add our last 3 double crochets to complete the fan. Oops. And now I'm going to slip stitch to the top of this first double crochet to join. Pull tight, and that is going to complete your 6th row. Now getting started on row 7 is going to be the same thing as row 5. Okay, so we are going to chain 1, and we are going to single crochet the back loop only of that starting stitch. So that first double crochet that you just slip stitched into, that's what you're going to single crochet back loop only into. Chain 3, and now we're going to do our 7 double crochets together, 3 down the rest of the fan, your 4th one into the single crochet, and then 3 up the fan, all into the back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You should have 8 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yarn over, pull through all 8 loops, chain 3. Single crochet into your back loop only of the next stitch, which should be the 4th double crochet of your fan. And that's what you're going to repeat. So repeat that all the way around. We are not going to have a partial fan over here. You are going to end after your chain 3, slip stitching into your first single crochet right here, okay? So I'm gonna finish working my upside down fans, which is my 7 double crochets together in the back loop only, all the way around, and I will meet you right back over here at the end of the round. Okay, so I've just completed my last fan. After I've chained 3, I'm gonna find this first single crochet that we started with, and I'm gonna slip stitch right into there. And that is going to complete our first set of bursts. This is our first set of bursts, just like this. And then we'll work our second set, and this is where we're gonna begin our decreases. So the next thing we're gonna do is work again with 3 rows of 3 rows of half double crochet. First one's being regular. I'll tell you exactly where to work into. And then our next 2 rows of the camel stitch being half double crochet into the back bar. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to chain 1, and we're going to place our first half double crochet into our single crochet, and then 2 half double crochets over your chain 3 space, 1 half double crochet into the eye of your stitch, and then 2 half double crochets into the chain 3 space on this side. And that's what you're going to repeat. Half double crochet into the single crochet, 2 over the chain 3, 1 into the eye of the stitch, 2 over the chain 3. So you should have 6 half double crochets per upside down fan. Now the number of half double crochets here will match the same number of half double crochets here. If you started with 72, you should still have 72. If you started with 60, you should still have 60. So I'm going to continue working my half double crochets all the way down, and then I will meet you back at the end of the round, and we will start again our 2 rows of camel stitches into the back bars. Okay, there I am. I've worked my way all the way around. So now our next step is to repeat rows 2 and 3. So we've done 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Our rows 9 and 10 are to repeat rows 2 and 3, our camel stitches. So chain 1, finding the back bar of your first stitch. And remember, that's just going to help push our top V's forward and make them look like little braids. So go ahead and do that for 2 rounds, and then I'm going to meet you right back for round 11. That's going to be the first round here, but that's where we're also going to begin our decreases, so it's going to be worked a little bit differently. Go ahead and finish those 2 and I'll meet you back. Okay, here is what your work should look like after round 10. You should have 2 rows of braids here from your camel stitch. The next round that we are going to be working on are these fans here. Now, if you started with 12 fans, we're going to be decreasing to 9 fans. If you started with 10 fans, we're going to be decreasing to 8. So let me explain to you how we're going to do this. Chain 1, and we are going to single crochet. Skip 3 stitches. In the first round we skipped 2, and this one we're going to skip 3. 1, 2, 3, and then into the 4th stitch, that's where we're going to add our 7 double crochets. We'll skip our next 3 stitches again, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th stitch, we're going to single crochet. Skipping 3 stitches again, 1, 2, 3, into the 4th stitch, we're going to put 7 double crochets. Now here's where the difference is going to be. In the 60 band pattern, you're skipping 3, double crocheting, skipping 3, single crocheting, skipping 3, double crocheting. Now you're going to skip just 2. So skipping 2 stitches and single crocheting into the next. If you are working the 70 band, you're skipping 3 all the way around. In the 60 band, you are only skipping 2 every other. So skipping 3 on both sides. Your next one is skip 3, skip 2. Your next fan, skip 3 on both sides, and then skip 3, skip 2. So you're alternating. You're going to have 8 fans, and only in 4 of those fans will you skip 3 on one side and skip 2 on the other. If you're working the larger side with the 72 row band, yours are going to be the exact same, skipping 3 after every one. So remember, your 12 fans are going down to 9. And if you started with 10 fans, we're going to go down to 8. So I'm going to work, because I'm working the 60 band, I'm going to work this repeat. 3, 3, 3, and then skip 2. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 7 double crochets. Hopefully I made that clear enough for you guys to understand. The only difference is that skipping 2 every other fan for the 60 band. So go ahead and finish that out, and I will meet you back at the beginning to start on the next round. Okay, here I am. I have just finished up my last fan. Because I'm working the 60 band, the smaller size, I should only have 2 stitches left. If you're working the larger size with the 72 band, you should have 3 stitches left, but then we're just going to slip stitch into the top of the single crocheted join. And now this row is going to be the exact same as this row 5 here. Okay, only instead of working 12 and 10 upside down fans, we're working 8 and 9 upside down fans. So let me show you. The first one is partial, remember, so we are chaining 2, and then we're doing 4 double crochets together into the back loop only, beginning with your single crochet. And then 3 going up your fan. Yarn over, pull through all. The difference with this row and this row is instead of chaining 3, we're chaining 2. Everything is the exact same except we're chaining 2. And then single crochet into the back loop only of the 4th double crochet on top of your fan. Chain 2, and then work your 7 double crochets together into the back loop only. 3 going down, 1 into the single crochet, and 3 going back up. Yarn over, pull through all, chain 2. Single crochet into the next stitch, which again is the 4th double crochet. So repeat that around, and then I will meet you back here so we can finish up that partial. Here I am at the end of round 12. Round 12, the end is just that double crochet 3 together. So we're just chaining 2, remember? Doing our 3 double crochet 3 together, back loop only. And then finding the eye of the stitch over here where we started, putting our hook into there, and then yarning over and pulling through all loops. Chain 2. So that's what the end of this round will look like. So getting started on round 13 is essentially going to be the same as this, but instead of having 7 double crochets, we're going to have 5 double crochets. So we're chaining 2, and if you remember, our first fan is partial. So we're doing 3 into the first one, and then we'll complete it when we end. So 3 double crochets into the eye of your stitch at your first fan, single crochet into both loops of the single crochet, working into the eye of the upside down fan over here, 5 double crochets. And then single crochet into the single crochet. So that's what you'll repeat. Single crochet into the single crochet, 5 double crochets into the eye of the stitch, single crochet, 5 double crochets into the eye of the stitch all the way around, and I'll meet you back to put in our last 2 double crochets from over here. Okay, so over here finishing up, we're going to do the same like we did in the beginning set. We're going to be working over our chain 2 space and adding our last 2 double crochets into the same eye over here. 1, 2, and then we're going to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet. Okay, so this next, you'll see now how we're decreasing. This is where you're getting your decrease. So this next row that we have here is very similar to this row as far as our upside down fan, working double crochets together into the back loop, only we're doing 5. And instead of chaining 3 or chaining 2, we're going to be chaining 1. So chain 1, single crochet into the back loop only, into the same first double crochet that you worked into. Chain 1. Yarn over, and we're doing 5 double crochets together. So it's 2 going down the fan, your third one into the back of the single crochet, and then 2 going up the fan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, all back loops. Yarn over, pull through all, chain 1. Single crochet into the next double crochet here, which is now your third double crochet of the fan. Chain 1 and do your 5 double crochets in the back loop only again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, pull through all, chain 1, and then single crochet. So finish that around. The 72 band should still have 9 fans. The 60 band should still have 8 fans, okay? So I will meet you right back here after you finish your last one, and we will slip stitch into the top of the single crochet to join. Okay, here I have just completed my last upside down fan. I've chained my 1, and now I'm going to slip stitch to the top of my single crochet to join. Pull tight, chain 1, and our repeat for this round is going to be this. We're putting 1 half double crochet into your single crochet, 1 half double crochet into your chain 1 space, 1 half double crochet into the eye of your stitch, 1 half double crochet here where our chain 1 space is, and then 1 half double crochet. Well, that's the end of the repeat. This is your single crochet is where you'll start it again. So you'll have 4 half double crochets per repeat, 1 into your single crochet, 1 into the chain 1 space, 1 into the eye, 1 into the chain 1 space. So you should have 32 half double crochets with your 60 row band, and you should have 36 half double crochets with your 72 band. So finish that out. 1 half double crochet into your single, 1 half double crochet into your chain 1 space, 1 half double crochet into the eye of your stitch, 1 half double crochet right after that, and then again into your single crochet. Okay, at the end of the row, don't forget to add that last half double crochet in here. Don't forget that. So put 1 more half double crochet, and then you'll slip stitch to join. Okay. Now our last 2 rows, we are at the home stretch here. Our last 2 rows are going to be the camel stitches. However, we're half double crocheting 2 together. So the amount of stitches here is going to cut in half. So if you had 32, you're now going to have 16 once we finish the round. And if you had 36, you will now have 18. Chain 1, yarn over, go into the back bar of the first stitch, pull up a loop, go into the back bar of the next stitch, pull up a loop with 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all. Yarn over into the back loop of the next stitch, and then the next one, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all. And do that all the way around. Okay, I've just completed my last half double crochet 2 together. I'm going to slip stitch to my first one, and then I'm going to repeat that round. We're cutting it in half. So chain 1, yarn over, go into the back bar of the first stitch, go into the back bar of the next stitch, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, pull through all. Yarn over into the back bar, pull up a loop, into the next back bar, pull up a loop. And you're going to repeat that, the same thing all the way around. This is our last round, and then we're going to grab our tapestry needle and pull it really tight. That is my last one. I'm going to slip stitch to the top of my first half double crochet to join, pull that tight, and chain 1 so I can secure it. Take our scissors. We'll leave a somewhat long tail so that we can weave in the ends and pull that through. Now we'll take our tapestry needle, thread that up, and what we're going to do here, you just have a little teeny tiny opening, both sizes. Now I'm just going to go through in and out the half double crochets. In one, out the other. In the next one, out the other. In the next one, out the other. Should only have to do that a couple of times till you reach the beginning. And when you pull it together, you'll pull your stitches up nice and tight. And then you're just going to weave back and forth a couple of times to secure it. If you want to add a pom-pom, now is the time to add a pom-pom. I will leave right up here on the top of the screen a link on how to add a removable pom-pom if you do not know how. Okay, and then when I fasten, I'm just going to go ahead and go on the inside so that I can hide my tail and make a nice little knot. And that's it. Snip your end. And that completes your Lana Beanie. So I have got my 2 little small sized 60 beanies with my 8 stitch band, my smaller 72 band beanie, but still with 8 stitches across, 72 rows, and then the adult size with the 12 stitches wide, still 72 rows. Thank you everybody for watching Jolie Knots Crochet. I appreciate you all for joining me. I would love to see your creation. I am on Instagram and Facebook under Jolie Knots Crochet. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. If you are not a member of the Jolie Knots Crochet community on Facebook, join us there and show us the Jolie Knots creations that you've made.